Hi guys, my name is Allie and today I'm going to walk you through just making a cup for beginners, just what I do to throw pottery. It's going to be a super short, simple video. I've just recorded a bunch of videos of me just throwing with music, and so you can see those if you like, but this is going to be a quick explanation, nothing too crazy in detail, but just like beginner guide of how I throw a cup. And it's gonna be a smaller cup. It's probably a toddler size cup. I'll show you real quick what that looks like. Here's some smaller cups that I've made. So these are just little kid mugs. I have 2 little kids of my own, and so I love making little cups for them. You can find the link to my Etsy shop. It's Craft Creek Creations, or follow me on Instagram. I do a lot of story sales there, but let's just get started and walk through this. I just take a little glob of clay. I'll see here how much this weighs for you. All right, the scale's dead. It's probably like 13, 14 ounces. And this is white clay. I've never used it before today, but it's all I have left. And so we're going with it. It feels hard in the box, but now when I mold it and shape it, it's pretty soft. So first thing I'm gonna do, slam it down, get my hands sopping wet. I've thrown quite a few mugs back here, so my water's kind of goopy. I could change it out, but I haven't yet. But first thing I'm gonna do is just push it down, get it stuck to the wheel, and then I'm gonna go ahead and push it in. I'm gonna take my hands and push the clay up, and I'm really pushing with the fat of my hands, like down here, and I'm pushing it inwards. And for beginners, I feel like this is the hardest part because you're touching the clay and you're like this and you're like, what's going on? But you have to like lock in your elbows and use a lot of strength, grip the clay and push it in and up. And then you're gonna go ahead and push it down. And here I use the fat of my hand again, and I push in here and push down. And we're just trying to make a short, small cylinder. I'll also use like this edge, and I'm just like karate chopping it. So I'm just pushing it in and down. I will grab my thumb like this, push in on the side, and push down with the side of my hand. And everyone does this differently. You just have to practice and throw and see what works for you. But my elbows are always locked in to my sides because you don't want to be like this, okay? So gotta get used to it. And this is just called centering the clay. Sometimes it's easier to center when the wheel is going faster, and you can just use your strength to make sure that clay isn't moving. You just want all of it in the center so your hands aren't moving. So that looks pretty good. So the next thing I do is just make the wheel a little bit slower. I'm gonna take a damp sponge. I like to use my middle finger. I just put it in the center, put the sponge on top, and I'm just pushing my finger in, pushing it down. You obviously don't want to go all the way through. You don't want to go too deep. If you're new, you should take a needle tool and check the depth of the center. So right now, it's that much, which is about good. You want like 1/4 of an inch or so. But as you throw, you'll get used to it. But you just don't want to go too thin or too thick. But at least if you're too thick, you can trim it off after. So next, I'm just taking my middle finger again with a sponge on top and just pulling it towards me slowly. The thing with pottery is you have to go slow to start, and just go slow. Everything's easier if you go slow. You have to remove your hands slowly. You have to do everything super duper slow so that you don't disrupt the clay. So once I have a little cylinder, and you want to go probably a little bit smaller than just like how wide you would want your cup on the inside, and then we're going to just pull the walls straight up. So you want to just make a cylinder. You're not going for any shape right now. You're just pulling the walls straight up. And to do that, I grab the clay like this with my fingers. I have a sponge on the outside, and I'm really pushing from the outside, and the inside is just like pushing back against my other hand to hold the clay in place. I'm just bringing my hands up slowly, slowly, slowly. And then I'll usually just keep compressing the rim every time I pull it up to make sure that it stays strong. So I'm just gonna do that in. I'm gonna push a little more at the base. And I'm really pushing with my index finger and my middle finger in this hand. Okay? So see, I'm just making a cylinder. I'm not pulling it out yet or anything. And I've got it really thick. So I'm just gonna pull up here again. And we got a spot in the clay right here, which is not good. So we'll see how that plays out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and now push out at the bottom because I have this little rumble in the clay. Sometimes pulling it out can fix the problem for me. I don't know if that's factual at all, but sometimes I do that. So I'm gonna slow it down a little bit, see where this indent is. I don't know if there's an air bubble or what, but we're gonna try to fix it. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the shape of the clay now. And so now is when I'm using my inside hand to form the clay into whatever shape cup that you want it to be. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I just like to go with the flow. I don't have any set shape that I'm ever really going after. I just like to see where the clay takes me. So here we go. So I'm just pushing out with my hand on the inside. Let's see what this is here. It's just a little bit thin right there. And I got a lot of clay here at the top. So I'm gonna take a little metal tool and I'm just gonna hold it here to try to, I don't know what's going on with the clay right there, but here I'm gonna just go again, try to make the shape, a shape that I like, and then thin out the rim a little bit because it's so thick. And this clay, I don't know why, it just like feels kind of heavy, but I don't know, I'm still figuring out this clay. So then I'm gonna go ahead and trim up the bottom, and there's lots of different ways to do this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and take this tool, which is just like a wooden pointed tool, and I'm gonna stick it in there, just kind of trim it up. And so that gives me a little excess clay there that then I will pull up through the cup. Okay, and so that is a good little shape. And when you're throwing, you have to learn to just stop. The more you touch the clay, the weaker it becomes. So you have to stop while you're ahead. I'm gonna take a little tiny, this is just a rip off of a piece of plastic bag that I've folded over, and I'm putting it on the rim of the cup just to thin it, to smooth it down so that you don't have any sharp edges on your rim, because no one wants a sharp cup. And then I'm gonna get the water out of the middle of the cup so there's no excess drippage there. And then I'm just gonna smooth this down once more. I'm gonna look in the mirror, and you know, that's pretty good. It actually is it's bigger than I thought it would be. Let me show you, I guess, the inside of the cup and what we're working with. Here's a little close up. Let me pull this out. I have all this bat system and everything linked in my Amazon storefront, but here's the cup. Just a cute little cup. Here's compared to my hand, so it is on the smaller side. It's not super large by any means, but just a little latte cup, a kid size cup. And I'm gonna put it over here with the others. So that's just a quick walkthrough of how I make mugs. Every mug I make is kind of a different shape. They all turn out different. I don't care, I love it. I don't make a bunch of the same of anything. They're different every time, and that's what I enjoy doing. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you like, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I will try to get back to you. Thanks for watching.